Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Taper Time Titters with Gary. Episode 100. It's good. It's 100. 100 episodes, Gary. How many hours have you and I spent? Because it's actually about 150. Let's finish the intro. Welcome to episode 100 of Run to the Hills podcast, sponsored by Chia Charge. Chia Charge have been fueling adventures with real food. They're going to be fueling Gary's adventures this weekend since 2020.
Got my little nutrition spread behind me.
Go and check them out at www.cheercharge.co.uk. I just said to Gary, I haven't had a snack post-run. I think I can make it through the next hour, but I'm not sure. Anyway,
like Tommy rumbling.
100 episodes. Oh, congratulations. Hours and hours and hours of our lives wasted.
2 hours, at least 2 hours of chat every week.
Every week. That's incredible. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for making it up to 100. We've got some exciting developments happening in the next few weeks. We just need the time to do them. Well, yeah. Gary, I need the time, don't I? Gary's ready. He's ready. He's like a panther. But I'm like, no, let's not rush this process.
Got to get it right.
Got to get it right. There's some exciting developments coming to Run to the Hills podcast. This week, the show's going out on Thursday. So that was a request, wasn't it? Request for people. So if you're traveling up to do the Lakeland 50, Lakeland 100, you can listen to this on the way. Gary can listen to this on the way and he can get it out and then he can zen. And focus. And then next week won't be going out until Saturday.
Yeah, I return on Thursday, Friday. So we're recording on Friday, and as soon as Gary pulls his finger out, we'll get that out to you. So it might go out on Saturday. Sorry, don't complain to the boss. We're doing the best that we can. Anyway, how are you? What does taper week look like? How are you feeling? Are you going to shave off that terrible thing that's growing from the bottom of your chin? I'm such a lazy person when it comes to like facial care. I should have probably shaved off a week ago and then had another shave, but I'm just going to...
What does Lisa say about this development?
I think she likes this. It's when it's
really bristle.
When it's when I just shave it, then it's really, because I don't shave it properly. I'll just do it with the shave. I do everything at once. It all goes in the same time.
Is it all going for the weekend?
Yeah.
Or
yeah. Oh. Race cut. I'll do the eyebrows, my ears.
Nose.
Yeah, the nose goes.
Back, second.
Crack. Yes.
Oh, like the swimmers.
I wonder about that with the
No, he's looking
down. The neck up.
Don't
and everything.
Touch down there. You'll be in a world of pain come the weekend.
Imagine that, yeah. But this week, yeah, pretty good. So I'll obviously tidy up this appearance for the race photographs. I bought myself a new bucket cap, so maybe I'll be debuting that on the race. I've gone red though. My full kit is black and the bucket cap's red, so we'll see how that.
That's good. That's good. I think I like that splash of colour.
Yeah, splash of colour. But I love taper week. And probably the past couple of weeks, really noticing the miles reduce. So this week's probably only going to be like probably 30 miles or something before.
I wouldn't run more than like maximum 10 on a taper week.
It's a big dilemma. You know, I was trying to tease Neil out for a session yesterday. I always like to do the week of, because I'm traditionally, when I got into running, it was to run marathons, basically. That was my thing. So I always do 3 miles at marathon pace, no matter what race it is the week before. So yesterday I did 3 miles and absolutely got lashed down, battered by wind and rain. So it wasn't quite marathon pace, but definitely marathon effort. So I did that yesterday. And then now it's just a few miles here or there. Rex has left the house without me. He's not getting a run with me. But I think what I will do is go for like a one last run with all my kit on and all the nutrition that I'm going to start with.
I don't like doing that, because when you put that full bag on and you're like,
it's heavy.
This is heavy.
Well, this leads me on to a listener of the show, Angela Green. She forwarded me this wonderful Excel spreadsheet because, like I've said, I wanted to hit the checkpoints as much as possible.
Doesn't hit checkpoints. That's not nice. No. Gently arrive into
caress the checkpoint. But yeah, use the checkpoints as best as possible. And I was like really struggling with all the maths and the calculations. And then up springs Angela. Yeah, thank you very much, Angela, because this spreadsheet, you basically type in what you think, how much your carbohydrate for the hour. And then you pop in what your nutrition is, Chia Charge, active root, and how many carbohydrates there are per portion, and what you think you might get from a checkpoint. And then you just calculate it all, because I'm kind of mindful. I've got a big pile of stuff there to start the race with, and I want to reduce that as much as possible. So this checkpoint, you really play around the numbers. So that is awesome. But yeah, taper week, pretty good for me. And what I'm looking forward to is traveling over on the Thursday and having No. We're in the youth hostel in Coniston. So yeah, come and say hello if you see me. That'd be awesome. But no stress on the day of the race. I'm going to go down, get up. No alarm clock for me. This is another good thing I like to do on race week, especially for a big race like this, is I won't have an alarm clock all week. I'll just wake up when I wake up. With 6 o'clock or 9 o'clock, I don't really care. And that is fine. And then on the Saturdays or Fridays, I'll just kind of get up when I get up. Registration opens at 9 o'clock in Coniston. So that's awesome. So I can do that super early. And if I've cocked up and forgot something, I can panic and drive into Ambleside and buy a compass or whatever it is I need to get me through kit check. And that is that for this week. I did on Sunday, which was really good. I went and filmed the Trail Outlaws Down Coast half marathon. And I have to say, Eddie, I've never shared one of my videos on people know I've got a YouTube channel, but I've never physically shared a video on the Run to the Hills community page. And I thought I might actually share this one because I'm quite pleased with how it came out.
Do it. Let's see it.
But it was good.
What's the sort of, when you say movie, I'm thinking like a story with like knights and Robin Hood and stuff.
Nothing like that. Well, I cocked up. I did 2 mistakes. It was super windy and I messed my microphones up. So there's no audio apart from music. So there's a school day lesson. My gimbal, for all these camera people out there, I never balanced it properly. So that wasn't doing what it should do. So again, a school lesson. And I was really cross with myself at the end because I just couldn't be everywhere at once. I never filmed the lady winners getting their presentation. And I was super cross with myself because of that. But anyway, all it is, it's like a little collection of the race, basically. So people turning up, doing the registration, everyone gathering on the start line, people pinning their numbers on, then a bit en route, people running, and then at the finish when everybody's having a beer and chatting. So like a little, just a roundup of the race. About 4 minutes, nothing.
A montage, I guess.
Yeah, it's probably some technical.
No Robin Hood. No
Robin Hood. Got the drone out, didn't crash it. So that was good. And what was awesome, I think, because I got in on Sunday and I was super, right, I need to get this done super quick, get it out. People have done the race. They want to see themselves. So I did it. I bashed it out and got it. I think I actually uploaded it on Sunday evening. And the response has been pretty good for literally, if I get 50 views on a video, that's pretty good for me. And this is like about 400 views in a day. So
viral.
Yeah.
Viral.
So I might share it in the community. But yeah, if you're thinking about doing a Trail Outlaw Down Coast half marathon, this is a great little advert.
Yeah.
This is a nice little route on a sunny day at least. So yeah, feeling pretty positive about that. And I think I might actually do more of that.
Business, yeah. Could this be it? Going along to people's races.
Well, then, yeah, I need to do proper things like with drones, get insurance and stuff, because when you start doing it for a job, you need to not insurance for the drone, but insurance in case I hit somebody with it. So this gets a bit more serious.
Your drone, I'd work on your drone sort of etiquette, little practice before I'd be a bit nervous if I saw you with the drone at the start of a race.
Oh my goodness. But you are working hard. It sounds lovely. You go to these races, you film and this and that. I see loads of friends. I love all that. But yeah, it is graft from whatever.
Yeah, you can't stop, can you? Can't miss that magic moment.
Yeah, that's me. How about you?
What have you been up to? Oh, same again. Ticked off the training. We're getting there, Gary. Oh, my poor body. It's feeling a little bit tired. You kind of, every day I think, can't be bothered. Then once again moving. I know. Come on, Eddie. It's just so tiring with the kids and everything. And I'm like, the first 5-10 minutes of a run is a bit creaky and then it's all fine.
It's real though, Eddie. I love it. We do have these struggles.
It's all the struggles. Yeah, 11 hours of running last week. Tick, done. Didn't quite hit the 5 hours on my bike, 4 and a bit, but I thought because I'd done an extra hour running, that was okay. 15 hours total of bit of base training. Had a lovely long run with some mates. We went around this bowl that's it's really near me, but I often don't. It takes an hour. Or it's longer. No, it's longer than that. It's about an hour and a quarter to run to. So I don't often then run around it because normally it's like I'm going over it and I'm turning whatever. So we went around the bowl. It's the bowl that I went round when I did the race. Long time listeners will remember this. I did the race where they shut the race, they let me through, and it was the massive thunderstorm around the bowl. So we went round that, and I really bored my mates by going, and this was the moment, and this is the moment. And it was lovely sunny day. Everything was totally dry. They freshly trimmed like the path because it's all sort of cut into the mountain. So where it's all trimmed, it's this lovely grassy single track, and then you cross the odd bit of slate where you either have a chain just to hold on to, or it's just when it's dry you can just sort of like put your hand and cross across it. But on a wet day, so I was reliving. I was like, this is where the man was lying crying with the vertigo, and I just left him.
Oh, wow, I remember all this, yeah.
I remember all this, and I haven't been round it since then. I was like, oh, this is so nice on a dry day, sunny, never doing this bowl again when it's wet. So we had a lovely long run. Legs were feeling better, was able to took my poles. Cool. And felt great going uphill, and then I don't normally use them on the downhill, but I did, and I felt much better on the downhill. So good. Please, another I think that was about 4 and a bit hours. I mean, I just on these long runs with mates, I'm the sort of runner, Gary, that I feel guilty if not every session is really hard or I'm not really tired, and so I have to constantly fight that, like, I could run this, but we're sort of hiking and chatting sort of mentality. Do you get that when you're doing like long runs? I'm like, but then I'm like, but if this is the spine, I wouldn't be running up this, I'd be hiking. So I'm like, just relax, Eddie. You don't need to be constantly 155 heart rate. 135 is absolutely fine. But I do fight that little like devil all the time, that work harder. I need to work harder. I must work harder. But we had a lovely run. As we finished, it was pretty hot. We were probably out. We left at 7, got back about 12. I don't know how long. I don't even look to see how long it is. Anyway, as we arrived back, Gary, drama in the Sutton household. The kids had all been training in the morning, ski physique training. One was doing, I don't know what they're doing. And what middle child arrived back, blood everywhere, all down him. Have I missed Christmas? What? Have I missed Christmas? Had fallen off his bike, totally concussed, didn't remember anything. No, but I think you might need to sit down. Anyway, I just come back from this 5-hour run. Poor child, he was in a terrible state, really shocked, really upset, more shocked, I think, than actually hurt. But so we learned that we've had a few kids, the sort of sports the kids are doing, we've had a few concussed kids already in our lifetimes. So we sort of sat him down on the sofa, but he was and a lot of his cuts and stuff were really, really dirty. So I was like, do you know what? I think let's just go down to we have I know I've said this before, we have an amazing medical centre, which is used to mountain accidents. As we got there, the helicopter was there outside. With the ambulances and stuff, because there's in the summer it's mountain bikers, so it was full of mountain bikers. Anyway, it's amazing. So we thought, let's just take him. You don't mess around with head injuries. He didn't remember the accident. He didn't remember cycling back to where we picked him up.
Oh, wow, super scary.
So, super scary. Let's go and check him out. And so we were very lucky. And as soon as we got there, they're lovely. They know us. We're not the worst family in the valley, but obviously with 3 kids, we've been many times. And so we go, I mean, this just wouldn't happen in England. Within 20 minutes, the like triage nurse has come in, cleaned up all his cuts, which I was like, thank God, because I wouldn't, if I'd tried to do that, I'd have screamed. And then sort of asked him, what did you have? What did you do yesterday? And he was like, oh, and I was like, I can't remember what did we do yesterday? I can't remember. And she was like, what did you have for breakfast? And I was like, God, these are hard questions for everybody. I've been running for 5 hours. I'm still in my running kit. I've had no food or drink. It was really, really hot. I can smell myself in this small room. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so thirsty. I'm like, is it bad for the mum to say, have you got like a snack? Do you have some like diabetic? Do you have sort of gel or water or anything? Anyway, as we're there, he starts to feel a little bit better and he starts to sort of be back to his normal self. And then the doctor comes in and he has to have a couple of x-rays because he's hurt his arm and his knuckles and stuff. And then she does a full like check of all of him. And the most thing he's worried about, he's got football camp this week, is that he's not going to be able to play football. But anyway, we took him home and he was very quiet. He didn't play football in the garden for the next 48 hours. That's how. Goodness. Poor little lamb. Anyway, he's very brave. And the other two kids we left at home, and the oldest one had made full spread of lunch for the youngest one, which involved a very large packet of crisps and some chocolate. What a star. He rose to the occasion. What a little lamb. Yeah. And so all well, but a bit of drama. And then, my God, was I dehydrated. Sorry to talk back about myself when my child was.
Okay, how's it looking for football at the weekend? Is his football camp?
So he's gone to football camp. I did the overprotective parent thing, Gary, and I dropped him off, came home, and then I ran down and just peered like a spy through the fence. I was like, I'm just going to have a look at him and see what he's doing. He's a bit sad because his knuckle, though it's not broken, it's very swollen. And they were doing kayaking in the afternoon. He's like, we didn't win the race because I couldn't hold the oar properly. I was like, all right, chill out there, competitive Sutton. But I said, that's all about sport. You get injured, you've got to deal with it. Sometimes you've got to play with a bit of an injury and you can't do everything to 100%. But we had said no headers. Apparently, under 12s have been banned from doing headers in football from now on in the UK.
Yeah, I've heard about a lot of this. Don't really keep an eye on football, but yeah, I think there's a lot of like aging footballers who are suffering head traumas and dementia as they get older.
Got to be careful with your heads, but he seems all right. He's coming round, but it's horrible when your kids really hurt themselves. And then I've just been for a lovely hour's run with my one true love. And as we were coming down the hill, my oldest was going up the hill and he's off on an 80k 3-day hike with his ski club, and he's got some new La Sportiva trainers and some poles, not Lecky. He's not getting expensive Lecky Trekkie poles. He was like, can I take yours? I was like, you joking? No, you can have these ones, Intersport ones. And so off he's gone, and one of his mates was with him, and they've probably climbed about maybe like 500 meters. They're climbing about 2,000 meters. And his mate was like, are we nearly there? I was like, awkward. No,
sounds
really.
Like my kids.
Anyway, he's gone off. Won't see him again until Friday now. But he can't get. He loves that sort of thing. Camping with his mates. They've got like one of those festival pop-up tents. So he's practiced doing all of that, and sausages, and
that was always my favourite thing as a kid. We used to go, like with the school, we went to a place called Howtown. Well, we'll see it again on the weekend, actually. Howtown, we went straight past it. And there was an outward bound centre there, and we did camping and hiking and on the lake. It was absolutely awesome. Loved stuff like that.
So all those adventures, and they come back a different person. He always comes back a little bit skinnier. Anyway, we've packed lots of secret. The coaches don't really like them, but we've packed loads of secret pancakes and chocolate rolls and sweets. I'm like, shh.
Need the energy, all that work.
Have your energy. Anyway, I'm happy with the way his body's feeling. I'm coping with it. Another couple of weeks like this, and then I might think about running a bit faster. Whoa.
We mentioned this before. It's always an awkward moment that you do get comfy in this nice, easy running, and then it's like, ooh. 5 times a kilometre. I'm not too sure about that.
As I ran down the hill, I was clicking away at some 10 kilometres. They felt pretty fast, Gary. Yeah. It's like, what speed? Okay, not that fast, Eddie. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But anyway, all good. Right, let's read some results.
I thought I'd give the Trail Outlaws another shout out. It's like a trail. It's really weird, this Down Coast Half Marathon. It is probably the closest race to where I live, and I've never done it. I've spectated quite a few times and obviously filmed it at the weekend, but I've never done it. I really, really should do it. And you can tell by the times for a half marathon, the winning time 1:32. It is not a fast course. Lots and lots of coastal steps in and out of little coves and stuff like that. But yeah, Daniel Short took the win, 1:32.11, and Jackie Murdy took the win for the ladies, 1:48.18. Well done.
Up at Blair Athol in Scotland, we had the Home Nations Backyard Ultra. This is taking directly off their webpage. And then there was one. Andy Jackson, Team England, wins the Highlander Backyard Ultra with 39 yards, 162 miles. Who knows how far he could have gone. A great event for the final Four Nations Backyard Trophy, and well done to the Irish squad for the overall win. We also had the Kennet and Avon Canal race. Ian Hammett won it in 26 hours and 30 minutes, and Julie Bethune won it in 36 hours and 10 minutes. Great running.
162 miles.
162 miles. I just read that like 162 miles done. 162 times he had to get up and start running again.
That's the thing, isn't it?
You know, but that's the bit about running I hate, is the getting up and getting going again.
Yeah.
I prefer just to keep, I think I just keep going around. Just keep going.
I'm really worried about the chair at the weekend. I don't want that to be sitting down at all, if possible.
Why would you sit down? You don't need to sit
I know
down.
Dale Main, it's quite a little cozy spot. You have you got your drop bag there, you do quite a bit of admin. So maybe there'll be a bit of sitting down there, but
Crying.
Hopefully not. No. I remember last year it was like a scene from MASH. Dale Main, it was carnage.
It's like some sort, and I'm afraid men are the most dramatic. There's sort of kit everywhere, lying everywhere. And you're like, you need to keep moving. Lying there isn't really going to make you feel any better.
Getting quite aggressive because they've got the wrong gel in the drop bag and stuff like that. The cork's not flat enough. This week we chat with Paul Wilson. I've got a long list here. This guy's been super busy. Backyard Ultras. This is like a recent occurrence, I think, for Paul. Steve Parr round, Bob Graham round, Frogman, which sounds absolutely bonkers.
I don't know what the Frogman is.
Well, I think it's a Bob Graham round, then loads of swimming as well involved with that. It just sounds crazy. The little bit I read about it on it. Spine race. He's done the Lakeland 100 5 times, so I think he gets a slate for that. I think you get a special slate. Bob Graham round chairman, people will know from that. He's a coach over at Summit Ultra, and so much more too. I'm absolutely shattered. I can't imagine 5 Lakeland 100s. I'm thinking about, this is my second one, and then it'd be nice to go for a slate, but the thought of doing another 3 is quite overwhelming. Yeah, absolutely shattered reading that. He's such a busy guy, and I'm really pleased he could spare some time with us today. Here's our conversation with Paul. Thanks for coming on the show today, Paul. I hope you're feeling better after the weekend. By all accounts, Wednesday onwards, you started to take a bit of a downward turn with your health. So hopefully that is starting to pick up. But we ask all our guests, where are you coming from today? What is the view from your window? And also, maybe you haven't actually. Have you been for a run today?
Currently in Carlisle. The view out my window is my back garden. It's the sun shining and it's a nice day, but I haven't been for a run today. I've been full of cold, so I'm now going to have a couple of weeks off running with that, I think.
Good advice, that. For
All
people
runners say that. They go, I'm going to have a off. Well, this week. Well, today. I might go later, but I'm just going to see.
Probably be running by the weekend.
You'll be supporting on a Bob Graham round probably on Friday night, 10 o'clock. You'll be loitering around in Keswick.
I will be in Keswick on Friday. I'm actually, one of my friends is doing the pocket round. So I will be in Keswick on Friday.
Oh, what is that then? I've never heard of this one.
It's a 7-mile swim run from the Pocket Cafe Bar in Lakes Road, Keswick, just down from George Fisher. You set off, you run a mile to the lake, and then you swim across Derwentwater by the Free Islands. You get out at Hawes End and run to Portinscale and back to Keswick. Just a new round that's to do in Keswick. It's pretty good.
Did the cafe invent it, I suppose, to encourage people to come to the cafe?
Yeah, the person that owns the cafe, their mum has done the Frog Graham, the Bob Graham, and extended Bob Graham. She does loads of fell runs, swim running, and they came up with this round. Anyone can do. Anyone, any ability, just rock up, tell them you're going, and see how fast you can get back to the bar. You get a free drink when you get back as well. So it's all good.
Can you swim, Gary? Would you be all right?
No, I think I could probably do about 25 meters. And then it'd be SOS. How's your swimming then, Paul? Because you've done the frogman, so that's like there's some swimming involved in that.
Yeah, the frogman's a pretty new round as well. Two of my friends were the first people to do it last year. It's basically the 42 peaks of the Bob Graham round, plus you swim across 4 lakes. Works out about 77 miles in total. You can set off anywhere along the route that you want, and there's no time limit. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good adventure. I did it last September. Took us 27 hours.
Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I glossed over it. How's your swimming, Eddie? I didn't ask you that.
I'm an ex-international triathlete, Gary. You should know
yes,
that.
I do forget about this.
How
could I forget?
I enjoy dropping that into conversation because it was at least 15 years ago now. And so probably I'm about 25 meters along with you, Gary. Still got the shoulders, though. Still got the shoulders. Before we delve into, a bit more about your most recent adventures, can you tell our listeners, Paul, a little bit about your running journey, how you got into ultra running, and the many feats that we tried to read them all out when we were introducing you, and Gary had to have a pause.
I needed to punctuate it more.
Running wise, I started running in my 20s purely to get fit for. I was an amateur boxer, so amateur boxing, just ran purely to get fit for that. Ended up moving from there into Thai boxing around about the same time, going out training with friends. That we always spent a lot of time in the Lake District and just started doing some fell racing and shorter fell runs. And that was it. It just grew from there, really. 11 years ago, I met my wife, and basically shortly after we met, she got cancer. She's diagnosed with lymphoma. And while she was having chemo, it's the actual last chemo session. Says, I want to do something next year. I want to focus on something and, get fit, and we'll do something. The entries for the Lakeland 50 had just opened, and we entered the Lakeland 50. And that was it. It just escalated from there. So then we spent the rest of the year training, just out on the route, on the fells. Went to the Lakeland 50 weekend and were absolutely blown away by it. Registers as you do. 6 o'clock on the Friday night, the Lakeland 100 sets off. We're there in Coniston, big thing. 100 set off, you're just watching it, and it's like, I've never done an ultra marathon before. But this time next year, I'm going to be on the start line of the Lakeland 100. So that was it. A year, we done the 50, had a brilliant time, and then totally obsessed. Entered the Lakeland 100, and a year later, I was on the start line and absolutely loved it. And that was it, really. Just started doing more and more races. Developed a healthy obsession with the Lakeland weekend.
Well, yeah, you've done it the 100 5 times, but I suppose I'll go back a bit. If you are spectating or you're at the start line on the 100, maybe doing the 50 the next day, I imagine the entry rate for the 100 then the following year is quite high if you're being a spectator watching watching the start go off. But yeah, 100, correct me if I'm wrong, 5 times doing the Lakeland 100 or finishing the Lakeland 100, 3 times doing the 50. Why? What is it about? I really love the event. I love the atmosphere and everything. But for yourself, what's so special, and why did you keep going back?
It's the best trail run weekend of the year, because there isn't an event, I don't think, in the UK that is as good. Or not what any that I've seen anyway. You go and register on the Friday, set your tent up. Depending on what you're doing, you chill out, see people that you know. And if you're doing the 100, then 6 o'clock, that's you away. If you're doing the 100, that's you till when you finish. The actual better weekends, if you're doing the 50, go back 10 years or 8 years, and that kids are young, watch the 100 go off, and then you've got the Montane 1. For anyone with a family, the Montane 1's actually the best race of the weekend. 1 mile with your kids, absolutely brilliant. Kids love it. And what an atmosphere, you've got everyone, both sides of the road clapping the kids in, and that's it. And then obviously the next day, doing the 50, you're away to Dale Main and, set off and run.
What a run. If you're a kid Coniston doing the, like you say, the 1 mile race. What a rush that must be! What a feeling that is. If you don't get hooked on outdoor activities after that, my goodness, it is. Like even just as a runner in say the 100, you'll be kind of going through some villages in the dark, and there'll be a few people there clapping you on, and it gives you such a boost. But imagine that in Coniston, that on that Friday night doing a race. Do you think you'll go back again one day to the 100 or the 50?
I was actually meant to be doing the 50 this weekend.
Oh,
I've got a place there. My wife's doing the 50. The plans for this year would have been 10 years since we were doing our first ultra marathon. It was a Lakeland 50. We would both go back and do the Lakeland 50 together. Then I'd entered the Backyard Ultra in April, which is a cowshed. Done pretty well at that. Ended up on the England team and had the opportunity to race this weekend. So
you said to her, sorry, I love you. I'm really glad we've had this journey, but there's another test.
We sat down and the decision was made that I would race this weekend. The weekend just gone at the Highlander. But my wife came up and supported us.
It's quite unique. You potentially have like wearing an England vest. They don't come around very often, those opportunities.
Yeah, you've got, it was just the way it worked out. It totally changed the plans I've had for the year. But, the opportunity presented itself and I've took it.
And you'll be able to support her now on the 50 when she's knackered or she needs a bit of a cheer. You can help her out on that. You can drive her home at the end too.
I'm actually working. I can't. So it's, a lot of her friends are there, and it's all.
Move on. Next question.
Well, the nicest possible way. I hope I don't say it because I'm hoping to finish. I don't want to see any 50 runners. Maybe the top podium finishes. So yeah, the best of luck to her. But hopefully, I don't bump into her on.
What time are you hoping to do?
Well, I'm hoping for sub 24. Oh, Eddie and I just chatted earlier. Sub 24, or if I kind of associate 15-minute miling with like as a walking pace. So anything that I can technically say, well, at least I ran it over that period. But yeah, I'd hope I'm aiming for 24 hours. But I'm finding it so tricky with road running. I know I've got to run 7-minute miling for 26 miles. And I'll have the prep will kind of tell me if I can do that. I think I can do that. I know or not if I have a good day. I'm a bit kind of in the dark with this, to be honest. I know I can run that amount of time. I've done Bob Graham runs, I've done Lake 100 in the past, Harbour's 110, spent countless hours running. But as far as the paces over that distance, that still is a mystery. And we'll see how that pans out. So yeah, we'll see. But how would you approach something like the Lake 100? I apologise for asking this. I don't like talking about people's times, but yeah, what's your times for the 100?
My best time was 27 hours.
Okay, all right.
From what I know about it, the best thing is just to chill out from the start. Whatever you do, don't head off with the lead pack.
I might have already said this today.
I've already told Eddie I'm going to go up quick. I'll try. I'll have Neil with me though.
And you're in the lead pack pretty much before you get to Wasdale. You'll be regretting your life choices.
I know. It's all good content though. We'll chat about it.
But yeah, I would say to anyone, just ease into it. You've got a long way to go. Especially, Walnut Scar Road, when you get over there, whatever you do, don't just hammer down there, into Seathwaite. You've got a few miles downhill and don't smash your legs. Same when you drop into Wasdale. And then, basically till you get to Braithwaite, just take it easy, nice and steady on the downhills, keep it calm. And then when you get to Braithwaite, you've got all the way to Dale Main, where it's not really that hilly and you can run. That's when you can make your time.
It's not too bad, that's like you've got to get up to the Blencathra Centre, but after that, it's not too bad. You've got a bit around Air Force when you're hitting Ullswater.
You've got, up Latrig and then round, that's the only really big uphill. The rest of it, you can just cruise round, and that if you haven't set off too fast, you've saved your legs. once you get past Braithwaite, you make some good time up.
Well, this is like a big problem for me. I've looked at my splits and I was consistently just outside I think I was like 11th, 12th, 13th. I never really dipped too much. So although, yes, I've got this 24-hour goal, I didn't achieve that last time. But judging on my times, I can't go any slower. So I can't take it any easier than I did the previous time I did it. So it's all jeopardy. But it is what it is. But how would you? I don't stay at the checkpoints. I won't be having a cheese toasty at Tilbuthwaite. Is that the kind of thing that you'd be doing, a smoothie at Kent Mayor, or do you breeze through the checkpoints?
No, I just go right through, grab what I need and go. I would carry most of my own stuff and just checkpoints, just top up.
That's interesting.
I wouldn't sit down.
No seats, yeah. The chair.
Soon, you can sit down and start cracking away and eating stuff, and you just waste time will just go.
Well, again, how many? So there's about 14 checkpoints.
Yeah.
If you're doing 5 minutes of checkpoints, which doesn't sound a lot, there you go. You're over an hour just hemorrhaged without without doing anything.
Dale Main's the only checkpoint where obviously you've got your drop bag. Dale Main's the only checkpoint that I would stop for any length of time, and then it would only be a few minutes while I sorted out what I'm going to do.
That's what I'll be doing, hopefully.
What's your nutrition strategy in these longer races, Paul?
Most of the time, I use Mountain Fuel sports jellies, a couple of them an hour, and then top that up with the Mountain Fuel Raw Energy. Just drink, it's got enough carbs in what I need, and just mix it and go.
Not get any taste fatigue, though. I think if I have one brand, I need to mix my brands up, otherwise I just get a bit turned off after a period of time.
Yeah. But as well, as soon as I get to a checkpoint, I'll just grab whatever's there, and top it up with that. And that seems to work for me. Especially, I can't really be bothered eating, so I'm quite happy just to squeeze the gel into my mouth, wash it down, and away. I don't want to be chewing on something for ages. You just get sick of it.
Well, it's a good idea, but at mile 60, your mouth doesn't really want to be consuming too much, something too heavy sometimes. Any tips? I know we talked about setting off a bit easier. Loads of our listeners, a lot of our community will be doing one of the races of the weekend. Any tips, any takeaways from your 8 times torn the line experience?
Yeah. The top tip is pace. As I said, whatever you do, take it easy. Even the 50, whatever, people will tear off. The lead group will be fast. Other than pace, fuel. Make sure you're fueling right. Get it in. If you look after your pace and your fueling, you should be set to have an enjoyable experience. Mess up either of them, and you probably won't have a good time. The biggest one for anyone doing the 100 is to look up. When you set off, it's absolutely magical experience. You set off, depending on how fast or slow you are. When you're heading over to Wasdale, it'll be getting dark. For most people, it'll be dark when they're going to Wasdale. Yeah. Drop into Wasdale and you set off with Blacksail Pass. Look around, look up and look around, and you'll just see this line of lights.
It's magic, isn't it?
Wasdale, and it's absolutely brilliant, and nothing compares to that. Same again when you drop into Buttermere, you run down, you look back, and there's just line of lights. So you see photos on social media of it, this snake and line of lights.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I'll say that it sticks in my mind. And every time you do the 100, the first night is amazing. If you still run on the second night, it's not so good.
I remember that bit around Blencathra. It's a bit of a horseshoe where you have to do that self-clip checkpoint. Yeah. And I just remember seeing head torches on the other side. And honestly, that was probably one of the top 5 running memories, that section on the Lake 100, pitch black, silent, and just these other bunch of crazy people out there in the middle of the night. What kind of shoes would you wear for a 100 miler? What would be a shoe choice for that? Asking for a friend.
Last time I ran it in Salomon Ultras. Currently, at the moment, the trainers that I'm wearing are Scott Ultra RCs. The last 100-mile race I was done was a Lady Anne's Way in January, and I wore them from start to finish, and they're absolutely brilliant.
In your armoury, those ones, Gary?
I've got Kinabalus. I'll go and get them, actually.
How did you find those Scots on wet rock, or was that not a problem on that 100-miler?
It wasn't. It was pretty flat. There wasn't a lot of, wet rock.
I'm on the Super Tracks, Super Track RC.
Right, because I had a pair of them a couple of years ago, and they didn't last 5 minutes. So I was quite sceptical when I got the Ultra RCs, but I thought I'll give them a go. And I think I've now got 3 pairs.
We just chatted in the podcast, actually. Would you distract yourself with music or podcasts, or are you just out on your own on the trails, no distractions?
Normally, I wouldn't. Not on something like the 100. I have done before, and normally I wouldn't. It's not something I'd do.
We're just using and abusing you, basically, Paul, because we looked at your CV and we're like, what should we really ask him?
Who could we get on the show?
Gary's asked all about Late 100. We're looking back at your CV, though, and we saw 2 spine finishes, 1 spine challenger finish. Would we be right in that?
Yeah. So going back to 2013, when I'd done the Late 100, then in the January became aware of the spine race. It's like, so seen it, and it's like, right, I fancy a go at that. So I've done the Challenger 2014, immediately done the Challenger. Right, I'm going to sign up for the big race, I've got to have a go. And 2015 went and done it, totally unprepared, really. At that time, I know it's only 7 years ago, but there didn't seem to be loads of kit. You can now buy absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Where at the time I done it, the kit that I used was mainly, obviously, spend a lot of time in the lakes, camping, etc. And it was all stuff that I had. 32-litre rucksack. Can't remember what the sleeping bag was, but my kit weighed 10 kilos.
That's pretty good for 7 years ago, though.
Yeah. But when I weighed my kit, it was like 10 kilos. But that was fine. The photos from 2015 was at the start. People have got these massive packs. They're absolutely huge. Like 50-litre rucksacks with all kinds. Carrying tents and everything. But, it was great.
Well, how many people were on the start line back then? I'm just curious how it's evolved as a race.
To be honest, I can't remember. I would be lying to tell you. I don't know.
It seems such a big like now when I look at social media when one of the races on, it seems like such a
big. In 5 minutes this year.
Yeah. Back then, I think you could get a place pretty much
on the day.
Near enough. I remember. I can't remember. Was it the first year it was on? There was 12 people.
Oh wow!
And they didn't. There was 12 people. They set up from Edale. And we didn't actually think anyone would finish.
Yeah.
2015.
How did that go? How was that first experience? You said you were unprepared. What sort of training did you do before the 2015?
I got out on the course quite a lot. I'd wrecked most of the course, apart from the first 50 or so miles, and then the last bit, the Cheviot. I'd never been to the Cheviot. It's quite a big jump, isn't it, from doing a 100-mile race to then, right, I'm going to run 268 miles.
I don't know what possesses anybody to do that.
Yeah, it was a total unknown, totally lacked confidence, just set off and went with it. But then as it went on, people were dropping out and, they're in a mess, and it's like, I'm actually all right here. I feel all right, I'm doing all right. And as people getting weaker, and mentally I got stronger. I was heading north, getting up towards where I run, Hadrian's Wall, Rossfell, and absolutely loved it. There was a start. It's the only year that the race has been stopped. The race was stopped for 24 hours at Alston.
Okay.
Because the storm came in. Then everyone, set off again. And, really enjoyed it. As the race went on, as I say, I got stronger and absolutely loved it. Finished 16th place overall.
Cool. But how do you, I think Eddie asked it, I just got no idea how I would approach training for that. I'm stressed out about 100. So this multi-day non-stop race, how do you train for that?
I've done a lot for 2015. I've done a lot of training on the Cumbria Way. Basically, would set up from my house and run to Keswick. Done a lot of training with the kit that I was going to use. So basically hiking about with this 10-kilo rucksack on.
Going to Tesco.
The main thing is, though, that I would say to anyone who's thinking about doing that is get your kit sorted. Whatever kit you're going to use, get it sorted, and then go and practice with it. I was going out at night. It was bad weather. I was on the fells and I bivered out a couple of times, just to get used to doing that. And it worked. Just doing stuff like that, it does pay off. If the weather's crap, go and get out in it and, go and train with your kit.
And then when was the second time? When you finished, were you like, I'm going back again straight away?
Yeah, if you look back through the races I've done, I'd never do anything once. I do something once and it's like, right, I can do that better. I'll go back and do it again. Get totally obsessed with stuff. Basically. So I was meant to do it in 2016. Unfortunately, my dad died a few months before the race. So put back my entrance to 2017. 2017 race, spent an absolute fortune on kit. Salomon had brought a 20-litre rucksack out. I had the lightest kit I could get for what I could afford. I bought, 400 quid on a sleeping bag, probably never going to use it again. My pack probably weighed, I think it was just under 5 kilos. The lightest kit I could get, I had it, and it made a big difference. You could actually run. Went and I finished 10th place. Made a mistake with my feet, though. This is one of the biggest tips I would say is that you've got to look after yourself. Neglected. It was a wet year, rained all the time, course was waterlogged, and neglected to look after my feet. 100 mile in, got blisters. Medic had looked at my feet. He says, they're going to get infected. After that, strapped them up, tried to keep them as clean as possible, and got on with the race. Got to Hut 2, and it was just under 5 days. I had like an hour and a half to get to the Kirky at home. It was about 5 miles. So there's like your safety staff in Hut 2. It's like, right, I'm going to run down here. The last 5 mile, and I went along to Kirky at home. I'm just going to run as fast as I can and get a sub 5 day finish. Full of adrenaline, absolutely chuffed to bits. Left the hut, 100 meters of running, feet exploded. I've never been in as much pain. Hobbled the next 5 miles. It took us about 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
They were watching your doc going, we knew it. He was full of it.
What's happened? What's happened to Paul?
But yeah, so I think I finished in 121 and a half hours. Got to the hotel, Kirky at home. My wife, I'll come through, pick you up and that, book a hotel room. There was hotel rooms available at the hotel. She came through and just chilled out, had something to eat. Woke up the next morning, the room, it smelled like someone had died in the room. Pulled the bed covers back, the toes were hanging off, my toenails were hanging off, and these blisters had burst and just all infected, and walked down, seeing them.
My stomach, that's Paul.
gave us antibiotics immediately.
Was it Trish? Trish last week or a couple of weeks ago we talked to? She had some end of life foot.
End of life foot care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that it now with the spine? Is that your journey? Do you think that's a good enough performance to sign that one off?
Yeah. Every year when the spine's on, someone will do it. You know, you go out to Hadrian's Wall and watch people come by, or cross fell, and every year it's like, I'm going to go back for another go. You know, I'm a lot fitter now than I was then. A lot quicker. I should go back and have another go, and then. The entrance opened a few weeks later, and I managed to keep away.
There's so many unknowns, though. The longer the races go, you say you might have the fitness, but it just could be a horrendous weather year. You have foot problems again, nutrition. It's never just a given that I can go back and improve on the time.
There's that much can go wrong. But, I totally enjoyed it. I would say to anyone who hasn't done it, who fancies it, just go and do it. Have a go. You'll always make mistakes, and there'll be a lot of stuff you can improve on. So it is hard to keep away.
It's intoxicating. It's like a drug. You watch people doing these races. But you've moved on now. It seems to be recently you're more into like a backyard ultra format. Yeah,
the last year, like anyone, backyard ultras have really taken off, and seeing videos on YouTube, what have you, and looking at that, and it's like became quite interested in it. And then seeing that there was a race locally called the Cowshed Backyard Ultra in April, so I entered that at the back end of last year. Just thought I'll have a go. As always, I entered that in April, and then I'd seen another race that was in Wales. A Welsh backyard ultra at the end of August. So it's like, right, I'll go and race in April, and I'll make all the mistakes, and I'll go and race in August. I've sorted them mistakes out and know what I'm doing and see how it goes. But went in April. There was however many people. It turned out it was a Four Nations event. So there was teams as well as solo entrants. There was teams from England, Wales, Scotland and Ireland racing. So rocked up, didn't expect to do as well as what I've done, because obviously there's all these international athletes running, and I knew I was fit and I knew I'd do quite well, but how well, I did not. Then as the race went on, people were dropping out, and it's like, I'm all right here, people are dropping out, but I'm actually all right, and I just kept going, and in the end I came second. I covered 32 yards, so it was about 133 mile. Made a few mistakes. I think got dehydrated, lost focus, and I just stopped. It was
Well, good. When it boils down to the two people, you're left there.
Yeah.
And it becomes a huge mental game. It was Sarah Perry, she was the who actually won the race. But what goes through your mind? Are you trying to play mind games with the other runner, or are you just completely yourself?
We didn't really talk to each other once we were on our own. Because Sarah had to go to Bob Graham earlier, and and I know her. The first time I met her was actually on met her in Keswick or your Bob Graham.
That's right.
So we knew each other, and we're chatting earlier on, because obviously it's 32 hours. So earlier on we were chatting quite a lot, because you're running together.
Yeah. So
when we're on, we're like, he said something, and said, "There's not a lot to say now, is there?" And you're like, "No, there isn't." It's pretty much chatting about everything we had to chat about.
That's true.
So yeah, it was good. So after that, came second, and then Mark, who organised the Cowshed, he manages the England team for the Four Nations. So he says, well, you can have a place on the England team for the next event in Wales if you fancy that, which was the Lions Gate Backyard Ultra, which is on the Lynn Peninsula. Never been down there, so said, "I'll be brilliant. I'll have a go." Went down. The course was quite technical. There was quite a bit of ascent in it, so that suited me. That wasn't the problem. It was meant to be really warm. Got down there, got set up, and it was really windy and with rain coming in. So there was, I think there was only about 60 odd people running. Through the night, in the space of 2 hours, it was absolutely hammering with rain.
That's dreadful.
And I had a tent where, I had my stuff in. So at the end of each lap, get in, get sorted. And I can remember sitting in the tent at the end of one lap, and the wind and rain was hammering the tent. It's like, I can't really be bothered running, but I can't be bothered sitting in here thinking the tent's going to blow away. It's actually easier to keep running. But most people in the race, I think, jacked in them 2 hours, had just had enough. So when it got to 24 hours and 100 miles, there was only actually 4 people left. I think after the 100 mile, a couple of them jacked in, and there was only me and a lad from England left, a lad called Andy Jackson, and he packed in another after a lap after that. He said he had a sore leg and that, and so I won 20.
That's going, oh, it's really sore. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Snappy.
Yeah, well, I was quite happy when he decided to stop.
Yeah.
So he ended up winning, so I was quite happy with that.
Cool. So with the international, I'm really interested. So you could have an individual winner, and then obviously there's the team event too. Is that?
Yeah, that's correct. And you get, I think, while the rules are, there's got to be 2 people still in the race for you to get points for your team. In Wales, when me and Andy were left, we were still gaining points for the team, because there was 2 England runners left. As soon as there's only 1 runner left, that's you finish. You're not getting.
Okay, I see.
Points.
And if somebody decides not to go, so there's 2 of you left, and somebody decides not to go out, do you have to complete that final lap on your own still?
Yeah, to win the race, you've got to complete 1 more lap than.
Yeah.
Like that, it'd be do.
Yeah, that lap was the fastest lap of the day.
Get it done. Oh, what a loving knowing that when you finish, you can stop.
Yeah, that's right. It was, it was pretty good. So by winning that, I then qualified for the UK National Championships, which will be in October in Suffolk.
Awesome. And that's the next. So you bit of recovery. Obviously, you did the Highland Backyard Ultra at the weekend. Unfortunately, DNF been poorly, but now your focus is on this.
It's all about October now. Yeah, so after Wales, the last event was in Scotland, which was the Highlander Backyard Ultra, which was Blair Athol, and that was this weekend just gone. After Wales, I recovered really well, really fit, and then on Wednesday came down with a cold. It was like, I didn't know what to do.
Maybe that's a good thing. That's a good thing, because you're going to carry that now. You're going to get better, and you're going to be fresher and more up for it in October.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you could have had being super positive, you could have, like Eddie's alluding to, you could have another 100 miles in your legs as we sit here now. And then October's like, oh, wow, that's not that far away, but saved a bit of impact on your body.
That's a positive from it, really. Because at the weekend, and Andy Jackson, the lad who came second in Wales, won this weekend, and he'd done 39 loops. So it was, to win that would have been it would have took a big distance. Because Andy won at 39 loops and he still had more left in him. So Andy's got a place in October as well, and Sarah Perry, and I'm not sure who else.
What's the course like? Is that?
Suffolk's pretty flat.
Okay. I
don't know a lot about it, but from what I've been told, it's pretty flat.
And what kind of speed per lap? Is it a 4.1 mile loop roughly?
Yeah, 4.167 miles a loop, which obviously every 24 hours means you've covered 100 miles. Yeah, really interesting how people approach it. One of the lads on the England team was absolutely flying each lap. I think he was doing 30 minutes.
Okay.
It was absolutely brilliant for 30 minutes, and he slowed down. And then you had other people who, me, for instance, quite happy doing 52 minutes a lap, nice and steady away. After a couple of laps, you would get to a point where a fence post, gate, it took us 9 minutes to get here. I know if I'm faster than that, I'm going too quick. If I'm slow, I need to speed up. Then you'll get to another point where you start going uphill, and it would take us 19 minutes to get there. So I knew if it took us longer, I knew whether to speed up or slow down. And then you had like 500 foot uphill, and then it was all downhill back to the start. My aim was to do 52 minutes a lap, and by doing that, get something to eat, get sorted. Any issues with my feet or anything, or if I want to change clothes, that's more than enough time for me to do that and then carry on.
Does it feel like about 2 minutes rather than like 8 minutes?
It feels like it's loads of time at the start, and then as you get on and get more tired, it doesn't feel very long at all. It's always the same, isn't it, in ultras as well? When you set off, the miles seem to go in, really quick, and then towards the end, the miles feel really long.
That was a puzzle, that.
It's like 18 of them when you've been told there's three. When you're like, no, this is like the longest mile I've ever run in my life. It's probably about 2 minutes.
So one last question. Would you run the heart rate, or you don't bother with that?
No, don't bother with heart rate at all. It's all, perceived effort. A wrist-based heart rate, they're not accurate.
Yeah, it's a bit all over the place, the wrist-based stuff. Isn't it?
I wish it was, because I would never have to do any workouts, because mine's constantly like 165. And I'm like, great, this is counting as a lovely tempo run, and I'm having a lovely chat. Yeah. I think it's even worse on women's wrists, because they just don't fit. There's like a massive gap between if you've got a narrower wrist. Talking about heart rate and stuff like that, can you tell us a little bit about your journey into running coaching, how you got into it, and is it your sort of full-time job now, or is it something that you do on the sidelines?
No, it's just a sideline. What's happened this year, I've only set up really a couple of months ago, coaching a handful of runners, done a couple of coaching awards this year, and then, just got into it. Set up a website, I've got the Instagram page. As I say, I'm just coaching a few runners who are doing different things. One lad in coaching has just done his first ultra marathon, went from not doing anything to doing a 50k.
That must be amazing, actually, to see you'll have experience in this, to see somebody's journey from pretty much no running to an ultra marathon. It's just mind blowing.
That's the journey.
Yeah, it's great. I absolutely love it.
Have a philosophy. You have these, some coaches will have you running 120 miles a week. Some are a bit more holistic.
No, it's all about enjoyment. Everyone's different. Everyone is different. Everyone's got different, responsibilities, job-wise, kids. And, it is just, it's doing what you can do.
Not whining about it all the time, like me.
That's right.
And where can people find your coaching? You said you got a website. Is there a URL you could share?
It's summitultra.co.uk.
There you go.
Summitultra.co.uk. I've run Lakeland 5 times. Listened.
Fine. We've not even talked about like Steve Parr around. Honestly, Paul, the list goes on and on and on.
A coach with a bit of knowledge, a bit of self-experience, then go and check out that webpage. Right, you ready? Are you ready, Gary?
Yeah, we always end this show with quick 5, but I always say this. I need to change my script. Quick 5, but we always have 6. I don't know why we say quick 5, but we've got 6 questions. 6 quick questions. I will try and...
Maybe not the first one. Get rid of the first one.
No, we can do it. It's fine. We've got a competition running at the moment. And it's basically, how do you cool down after a long run? What would you do? Bacon hot day. You finished the run at Coniston. What are you going for? Ice cream, beer, coffee, dip in the lake?
Straight in the lake.
Straight in the lake. Classic.
And then ideally go for a beer.
Most extreme place or weather that you've run in?
Be in the Lake District, supporting around somewhere. Tom Hollins's Wainwrights last year sticks out. He got blew over on Skidder. That was pretty grim up there. I think about 60 mile an hour winds, rain. I've probably been in worse, but it's as bad as what I can remember.
Cool. Yeah, I remember a few dodgy times up Skidder. I like this question. I'm going to leave it in. We had it in previous show. It's Groundhog Day. you're Bill Murray, but you have the choice. Do you run the UTMB every day for the rest of your life, or the Bob Graham round for the rest of your life? What would it be?
Bob Graham round.
He was saying Bob before you'd even finished.
Now, we go deep into our research for this show, Paul, and my favourite choice, my favourite outlet for knowledge is Reka.com. Basically, you're probably the most famous Wilson I know, but who do you think is the most famous Wilson on the planet, according to Reka.com? It's not who we thought it would be.
No, I got the second.
I haven't got a clue.
Letty and I both thought it would be Owen Wilson, famous movie star, but it's actually a lady called Nancy Wilson, and she's got a heavy flex, 5 decades of recording artist, 70 albums. Can you imagine recording 70 albums and 3 Grammy Awards? So I think she's...
Never heard of her.
I know, I've never heard of her. Okay, right. You are full-time coach. You cannot fit any more in, but one slot has just become available. The phone's ringing. Do you hope it's Jim Walmsley, Killian Jornet, Tom Evans, Francois Dehaene, or anybody else? Who would you love to coach?
Emma Stewart.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that one. Cool.
Should I know who Emma Stewart is?
You will do shortly. She's an up-and-coming local runner who's won every race she's entered this year, and she'll be on the start line of the Lakeland 100 next Friday night.
Very exciting. Love it.
She won the Lakeland 50 last year. She's won the Lady Anne's Way 100, the lap, and I can't remember what else.
Well, anyway, if you're listening, get in touch. Future guest, Eddie. That'd be awesome. Last one. Miles with friends or a solo run, losing yourself on the trails?
Spend most of my time running solo. I actually, support loads of rounds. So I love running with loads of different people. So I'll go for with friends.
Cool. Nailed on, actually, Paul. Friday on Facebook, you'll see a picture of Paul outside the Moot Hall. And I've never really had a chance to say thank you. It was such a treat when you turned up. I saw you in the car park at Keswick. And I just, to be honest, I thought, oh, this is like, I felt really special. I thought you'd just done it for me. I was blown away. Yeah, it was Neil and I. It was such a thrill to see you there. It was awesome. So I appreciate that. And thanks for your time today.
No problem.
Thank you so much. Get better soon. And we look forward to, seeing how it goes in October, following your preparation. Perhaps come on the show again in terms of blow by blow breakdown, lap by lap.
I would love to.
50 laps. 50 laps.
Do you get like an official England vest? Do they do that?
Got an England t-shirt. At every event, there's a different t-shirt. So
cool.
England t-shirts.
Awesome.
I'm quite proud of them.
Yeah, that is a big achievement.
You should be. Speak to you soon. Good luck, Paul.
Right,
thanks, Paul. Take care. Thanks for the time.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Paul, for coming on the show. Sorry if we rather over-grilled you on Spine Chat and Lakeland Chat, but you know, everybody loves all these deets, all these crazy deets. Good luck with all your future endeavours, and thanks again for coming on the show.
It's great, wasn't it? A coach with all that experience, you've got to tap into that.
Tap into that and looking at Lakeland 100. Sign him up.
Yeah, but another race that's going on this weekend. We've got the Ultra Trail Yorkshire team have a new race for 2023. So I thought it'd be great to give a shout out for this, because you can enter this now and you can train for it. So it's the Yorkshire Wolds Ultra. It's a 50k circular route starting and ending in the centre of Pocklington. It's been designed by them so that you get to discover the best parts of the Wolds. You'll visit the picturesque villages of Bishop, Wilton, Kirby, Underdale, Drixendale and Fridaythorpe. Entries are open now, and that is in July 2023. I wonder if that's a Lakeland 100 date clash for next year. So I might not be able to take part in that. But yeah, it's over in SI entries. Go and check it out.
Have you got ideas of what you want to do next year already?
Lakeland 100, yeah.
You could do it again?
Yeah. Well, it's 350, isn't it? So I think It all depends. You know, the V50 wins it this year.
I'm not going through this again.
It all depends on what time they post this year, whether I think I've got the motivation to train.
Okay, I'll let you have that one. And the other race we wanted to mention, of course, is the Lakeland 100, Lakeland 50. Perhaps you're listening to this on your way traveling up there. Perhaps you're listening to this as you're running. Hope not. Turn it off and focus on your effort and intensity. Keep eating. Best of luck if you're running under those routes. If you see Gary, be kind. Don't mock, don't joke. He's doing the best that he can. Best of luck to everybody. Don't go off too fast. Taper your effort and enjoy the day. Awesome route. Enjoy that run through Ambleside and the run into Coniston at the end.
I'm pretty sure all the men will go off too fast up Coniston.
They don't even need to mention that, do they? Is that charging up that hill out of Coniston?
I know, I've already visualized this, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to do that and then take it easy after that. Get up. I don't know why. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully not.
It gives me anxiety. The first half an hour of a race, I hate it. And then everyone just settles down.
Finds its way after that, doesn't it? You have that rush.
You sort of just forget. You sort of just get into it then, and then you become much more. I find the first half hour I'm really out of body experience, and you're really aware of everybody else, and somebody's coming past, and your breathing's really unregulated, and you feel like, oh my god, and then it sort of just disappears, doesn't it? And then you sort of find your groove, and what everyone else is doing is kind of becomes irrelevant. But that first,
you mentioned the people possibly listen to the podcast. Would you have music or podcast? I think you do.
I wouldn't have a podcast. No, I wouldn't have a podcast when I was running. I love listening to podcasts when I'm running sometimes, but I tend to go off in a little. I'm listening. I'm not focusing on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I do use music in the latter stages of a race to pick up the cadence a bit when you start getting into that. Do you find it hard? But I wouldn't listen to it. I don't like listening to it in the dark because you can't hear when the creepy crawly is coming up behind you. And also if it's technical, I don't really like the mountain races here, 40, 50K, I wouldn't dream of it because you need your wits about you. You need to hear your feet on the floor too. Yeah. But 100 miles, I definitely would crack open some Taylor Swift heading out of Dalmain. Will you have a bit of music?
Oh, no, I'll be 100% present for 24 hours.
Drop it. I'll check. We'll be checking
and
that.
I do, I listen to podcasts pretty much every time I run. I listen to a podcast. But for that 24 hours, hopefully not plus 24 hours, there'll be no distractions. I'll be completely present in every step. Yeah.
I couldn't be present in every step. I'd be exhausted. Sometimes you've got to take yourself out of the pain.
Well, I've thought, I've recently just thought, do I like an audio book or something that you get some like epic, maybe Lord of the Rings might get me through 24 hours. But no, I could really regret this, but no, I'm going to be completely just me in the trails.
I love that. So what are you doing this week? What are we looking like?
It's all business. Like I say, I'll thank Angela again. Actually, yeah, thanks to Angela's spreadsheet. I'll be refining the nutrition. It's all
go out the window as soon as you start running and be like, I didn't
well, if I eat the wrong thing, that it's all great. I've got this spreadsheet and in my head, basically it's every 30 minutes I need to take about 30 grams of carb. That's roughly.
And you just see Gary eating a banana and listening to a podcast on this. You're going to know it's all a horror thing.
Terrible pull technique.
What you were saying in the moment, Gary?
Oh, goodness. Can't hide, can you? So yeah, about 30 grams every time it beeps, about 30 grams. And so yeah, this spreadsheet has been awesome for that, but it's going to be all Chia Charge. So yeah, I'm really honing on it. Chia Charge, the active roots, hydration for my salts. I went on the Precision Hydration website again and did the calculation for the salt and the carbohydrate. And so I don't think I need any more salt than what I get in the active root and the Chia Charge. So that is fine. Also, I'll be doing the precision hydration gels and then the high five gels with caffeine. So yeah, I did kind of refine all that. I think I mentioned earlier about going for a little kit run just to make sure there's nothing flapping or bouncing or anything rubs. But that's it. I'm really on it this week. Actually, this is what I'm not doing. So I'm not doing any strength work. Lots of mobility. I've been massaging my both IT bands, looking down again. Lots of foam rolling and icing that knee. Just it's because I'm not doing the strength and conditioning, so I'll use that time I would have spent doing that. I'll be doing a bit more maintenance. But yeah, super
Are the
easy.
family coming up to Chia?
Yeah, we're all going over. Yeah, we're having a week, so that's going to be our holiday basically. Me hobbling around.
Lucky family.
Well, I'm doing it. We get it out of the way on Friday, Saturday. So,
yeah, but then you're useless for the whole holiday.
Well, yeah, we kind of said I want to go up to Coniston with the kids. I want to take them up to Coniston. So we'll see how. If you see my Strava on Sunday, I've gone up to Old Man of Coniston. That'll be, especially if you DNF. I've seen this a few times. I don't want to kind of call anybody out, but you see people DNF and then they go and do a run on the Sunday. It's like, oh, hang on a minute.
When I did Lakeland 50, the next day we took the kids to Beatrix Potter World. Your kids they're not going to buy into that.
Been there though.
There's a picture. Bryn took a picture, and they were going around saying, and I was like, I'm just going to have to sit down.
Yeah.
And there's like a model of Beatrix, and I'm just sitting down next to her, going, "Where is the cafe? Let's just get to the cafe."
But I don't want to wreck everyone's holidays, so if I can move. And then, yeah, I would love to go.
You just have to suck it up, don't you? You just have to suck it up and keep going from just cafe to cafe.
You don't have to go to Coniston. To be fair, you don't have to do Old Man of Coniston. There's loads of lower peaks where you have great views, so I don't have to go all the way at the top of something quite big. So, yeah. But, yeah, to do the race, I always think this is a good thing. If you're going to combine a holiday and a race, for me, you do the race early on. Because here you could just booze it up all week and then cock up your race. And then also you kind of really... focused all the attention on you for the week too. So get the race over with, and then everybody can enjoy.
My big thing is always I'm just so sore after just an hour run really. Any big race, and then when we've had holidays afterwards, my memories are of just hobbling like after the kids and being like so tired, going around chocolate museums, train museums, and just being like, oh my God, I'm not sure I'm going to make this to the end, the drama. But you're right, it's a much more enjoyable, relaxing, even though it's slower and more painful pace for everybody. Yeah. So yeah, good move. I like that move.
But I am mulling over I was like just one goal was 24 hours. I'm mulling over about not plan A, plan B, but things that might satisfy me.
Well, I said at the beginning, didn't I? I said, go and listen to Sally McRae's podcast, which is her story of bad water this week. It's called Live Strong, I think, something like that. Anyway, you can type in Sally McRae into your podcast channels. And she talks about her bad water race and what she does when it does all go wrong. I'm not saying yours is going to go wrong, but I like the way she framed it and her mental attitude. And so it's a very good tool. And anyone listening to it's a very good tool to talk about, to think about and prepare yourself that if you have to realign your goals, what's it going to become and what's it going to look like? And what are you going to look like when that goal, how are you going to handle yourself? That when you do get to the finish line, you're kind of proud of what you did out there, even if it's not what you planned to be. Get to that finish line, Gary.
I think that's one of my strengths.
We haven't had a DNF yet, have we? You and I?
No. I've DNF'd a race that wasn't a race. It was like a practice.
I've DNF'd tons of races, but I meant during the podcast.
It would be injury that stops me. I'll walk it out. I'm not that person.
Death or morphine, Gary. Death or morphine. Those are the rules.
What about yourself? How's your week shaping up?
Oh, well, it's quick. This is my 1 week of the whole summer when all the kids have got, one's hiking, one's doing ice dance club, and one, that's a whole other thing, age 7, 6 hours she was on the ice. She had such bad blisters the coach came and he got into the store cupboard. He's like, her ice boots are 2 sizes too small. She was like, oh, my legs really hurt because I've been trying to skate like without touching her blisters. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, he lent us some bigger boots, and I taught her blister compy, and I was like, and I put some more in her bag. She's only 7 though. I'm like, so can you be right to put that on? She's like, Mum, can you teach me to do my laces? Because I couldn't have to. And I was like, oh bless yes. So tonight we'll be doing lace down. Anyway, this is the 1 week of the whole summer where all the kids are at their various sporting endeavors, and so I have 3 or 4 hours a day tout seul in which to do some real deep coaching admin, looking at taking 3 or 4 clients every day and really going into their next month's work. So planning that, give me just a bit of time, bit of quiet. I try not to spend my whole time running, but I am going to do a lovely run tomorrow, but I have to stay relatively local in case I get the call of someone bashed their head, fallen on their skate. But I'm planning on getting a couple of nice longer runs with the dogs as well. So just keep
It's awesome. You've got really lovely trails out the door.
Oh, I can't complain, can I? And every day I'm like, where shall I start today? And then I can just go off and, as I say, after that first 10 minutes of, I feel like what is it in Gremlin? Those little gremlins. And then slowly I become what I imagine.
Don't feed you
like
after midnight.
Emily Forsberg or something in the mountains. Anyway, all the focus is on you, Gary. We wish you the best of luck. We'll be tracking. Go, Gary. Go, Gary. I'll be saying.
I'll share a link, actually. Yeah, I should share the tracker links up, so I'll pop it up on there.
I'm sure it's on open tracking, isn't it? I hope you have a great day. You deserve a great day. And next week, it'll all be about you. Can't wait. The ins, the outs.
I promise everybody there'll be no caffeinated energy drinks consumed on Friday.
Yeah, but we can't promise there'll be solid bowel movements either. But that's all part of ultra running as well, isn't it?
Please, no.
I'll be with you. Wish I was with you. One day we'll run the trails together, but I'll be behind you. I'm your biggest supporter. You got this. You got this.
Thanks, Eddie. Thanks, Eddie. Should we have a chat about some other supporters? We've got some lovely reviews in. Done it again, haven't I?
Yeah, you choose one. Ooh, you choose
Well,
one.
the top one, straight to the point and really, really positive. No messing about this one. Jamie S. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not too sure if I've copy and paste something wrong there, but he left a review. Can't argue with that. Simply the best. It's his favourite podcast. Eddie and Gary are fantastic presenters, and they have some pretty amazing, inspirational guests. Mic drop.
There we go. That's all we need.
Episode 100.
Thanks, Jamie. Yes,
Thanks, Jamie.
Favorite podcast. You listen away to our twittering.
Wow. It's really weird because there's not 100 episodes. If I went into the podcast hosting platform, there's 100 and whatever. But for some reason, in season 3, we're at the 100th episode.
Season 3.
I'm not too sure how it all.
Should we start season 4 then? Or do we just keep on going?
Oh, no more changes. This is it.
No more changes. This is it. We're going 101 next week. You're 101 next week. I'm not sure if that bodes well or not.
Fine. I don't believe anything like that. We're fine. We're going to go with it. Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for all your support and best of luck. We should say this every week, actually. We give best of luck to people, the races that we shout out, but best of luck to everybody towing the line on Lakeland 50, Lakeland 100. I hope you have the best 24 hours. I quite often in life, I have filled with self-doubt and questioning myself, but for this weekend, let's all be legends out there, Lakeland legends.
Gary, some sort of motivational speaker. Let's all be legends.
And they just get this. I'll probably get a bit emotional. They just nail it. The whole tone of the race, the size of the race, the community, the atmosphere, the checkpoints, the community who come out and support everyone's friends and family see out there in the trails. It is just an awesome, awesome day. And I really hope everyone towing the line there gets what they want out of it. That was episode 100. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Chia Charge for continuing to support the show, sending bites to guest competition winners, keeping Eddie and I fueled in our adventures, generally being an all-round super support to everyone out on the trails. My name's Gary Thwaites.
I'm Eddie Sutton.
And let's run to the hills.